Great chatting once again with Malcom Gordon, who's going to be fighting this Saturday. Malcom, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for once again having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate you doing this during fight week. I know it's, cutting weight and all that stuff, so really appreciate you taking the time. I wanted to know, how long have you been in Vegas? Because I know that was one of the things when we were setting up this interview. You had to do the travel and all that. When did you actually land there?
I got down here about 3 weeks ago. And we've just trying to get used to normal acclimation, whatever.
Yeah.
Making sure everything was set. And then plus, what was going on back home with the whole recent closures. And
I know. It's crazy out there in Ontario. I can't believe some of the stuff they're doing, which is nuts. So
it was making training a little, once again, I was I'm not going through the same thing I did last time. You know what I mean? So as soon as they started hinting towards closures and started restrictions, or thankfully enough, I was thankful to get a place down here, and I'm down here with a couple of teammates, Mike and Parado. Bazooka Joe also came down here with me, and we've been just crushing it, man.
Good. No, that's great to hear. So you Airbnb-ing it, I guess, out there, and then just for the last little bit?
Yeah, we're actually right now. Yeah, more or less, yeah.
That's good. And you can use the PI and all that. I know it's a little bit different with COVID, but you got to schedule stuff, I guess, if you want to use it.
Yeah, and even that, now there's even more restrictions, but the PI has been amazing, you know what I mean? For the most part, we've been able to get all of the physical therapy in and this diagnostic, that diagnostic, all your meals, what else? Training specific, you know what I mean? But right now we're going to bouncing in between syndicate MMA and dry stales.
Nice.
For whichever, and we're keeping to the game plan. So yeah, it's good.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. Let's talk quickly about the debut back in July. Kind of weird circumstances, right? You had to fight on Fight Island, and you had all this other stuff going on, just with the the traveling and all that. What did you take away the most from that fight? Obviously, you didn't get the result you wanted.
I definitely took I belong here.
Yeah.
But I was just say unfortunately with the circumstances and whichever or how the result was. It came down to just not being prepared enough. I truly that was when the pandemic first started, and I was being a little cautious, like everybody else was. I know some guys were still the diehards were in the gym, but I was trying to, they were saying stay at home, keep your family safe, whatever. But once again, it's super cliche, you know what I mean? When these guys are when the UFC calls, you don't really turn them down. So we had to do what we had to do. And this time there can be no excuses, right? Had a full training camp, full everything, all cylinders firing. That's it.
What type of camp did you have back home? Back when the restrictions were going on, were you able to do any training, or was it kind of one of those things oh crap?
Oh no, absolutely. I haven't left the gym since. Once after that Abu Dhabi, I was pissed. I sat there for the 2-week quarantine, just fucking twiddling my thumbs, fuming. You know what I mean? So, I had to eat that one, take that one on the chin. As soon as that 2-week quarantine was up, I was in the gym, haven't left since.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. Let's talk about your opponent here. 12-4 record. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him?
I think it's a pretty good matchup. Classic striker versus grappler. Su's young kid. He moves well. He's had quite a few fights at flyweight, whichever. And that's about it. He looked phenomenal in his last fight. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a real good fight for the fans in the flyweights. If he brings that to the table, man, it's going to be good.
Have you glanced at the betting odds on the fight?
No, I try to stay as far away from that as possible.
Do you want to know, or would you rather not know at all?
I think I'm an underdog for sure. It makes sense.
You're a big I'll just let you know this in case your friends are looking to bet on the fight here, Malcom. But I'm looking right now. You're plus 270. He's minus 330. I think he's the second biggest betting favorite on this card outside of Curtis Blaydes.
Wow. Sick.
So there you go. So hey, listen. And by the way, I should mention this ahead of time. If your friends bet on you and you win, they should buy you a steak dinner. I think that's a good rule. So, and not a regular steak dinner, like the keg, something high scale. That's what I think. So just wanted to preface that.
I look like shit my last fight, so
It's okay though. That's why. No, but you got a full camp now, and like you said, and I think you going to Vegas for 3 weeks is a great idea because, like you said, you get to utilize everything. You got the PI, you get people making your meals, right? So there's a lot of bonuses, I think, with that strategy. What you did there, I imagine the cut's going well because of that. Because, like I said, you got the cafeteria meals whenever you need them.
Yeah, more or less. We're ready to rock and roll, man. I'm just so anxious to get in there. I can't wait. You know, it's just like, what's it, 5 more days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Let's go.
And good training partners. Joe Valtellini, one of the best ever, especially in the kickboxing world. Mike Imparato, one of the top bantamweights out there in terms of, the regional MMA scene. And then who else did you get to work with? Any of the guys back at Adrenaline, back at home, or what sort of camp did you have?
A little bit. I mostly stuck with Joe. We've been dealing with like game plan for Su for a long time. Mm-hmm. A little bit back and forth like with Adrenaline, but for the most part, it's just like a lot of with Bazooka Joe, and I've just been trusting in him. For this guidance in my this camp and future ones, and then like with the recent addition of Mike Imparato for like the kind of, I know I really had to reevaluate my jiu-jitsu, not in any sense, but just like once again after a loss you always tend to go back to the drawing board, and we were like, okay, well there are some super critical errors, multiple ones that left me multiple steps behind. And then just trying to think, like, how do we break out of certain bad habits, right? And Mike's been a fucking huge, sorry for the swearing.
No, swear away, man. We're Canadian, but it's okay. We can be a little liberal here. It's fine.
Yeah. Mike's been a huge addition to the team, and I wish nothing but the best for him, too. I hope that he actually gets his shot one day, because I know he's going through a lot, too, with all of, just with...
There's politics. Yeah, we could that whole thing a couple of years ago. I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolute politics. But once again, Mike's been an incredible addition to the team, and I couldn't be happier.
Good. Oh, no, that's great to hear. Do you think? I mean, this is kind of just kind of looking back now, but do you think there were any UFC jitters back when you fought earlier this year, or do you think that's it depends on the fighter, so to speak?
I think it depends on the fighter. I definitely now I'm feeling them once again. Mm-hmm. I think the first fight I didn't feel any jitters because I really wasn't ready. You know what I mean? This one I feel like it's like I'm getting anxious, ready to go, so I start getting like a little anxious. Yeah. It's real, man. It's real. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna fight some of the best in the world. So you got to be sharp. You got to be ready to go. Yeah. I think I definitely kind of that last one. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just but you had to. You took it on short notice. You can't.
No,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
This one, it means a lot more because I put in everything I had into this camp, and it's going to be an incredible showcase, and I can't wait to show everybody how hard I've been fucking working for the last 18, 16 weeks, whatever it is, since that last fight.
How's the fight playing out on Saturday?
Fight's playing out, going to be very aggressive. You can't count him out any place. You can't count me at any place. But once again, I always bring an exciting fight to the table. We're gonna see how it unfolds as it unfolds.
Talked about you being in Vegas and training there. What's downtime looking like? You're hanging out with your buddies. I know obviously training's the focus, but what are you doing with your spare time?
Training is 100% the focus, and after that, it's recovery. Our days are super packed though. There is no a lot of downtime. You know what I mean? Aside from fight week, but we're getting up early. I don't even know. I can't I think the time difference was messed up at first, but it seems to be pretty consistent. But waking up, 7 a.m., we're going for light runs, we're hitting up the PI for a few hours, and we're training. By the time that's done, we go home, we eat, we go back to training in the evening time. So man, it's a full day. It's a full day.
I bet.
Aside from this week has been pretty, obviously because you start to taper, but we've been doing 2-3 days, the entire time. So.
Seen a lot of the other Canadians down there. Misha Serkinov's down there, Jeremy Kennedy, Sarah Morris.
Jeremy, I had I rolled and trained with Jeremy right before that last fight. And that was an incredible win for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ran into Misha, just briefly, just kind of talked to him, which I think he's I don't even know.
No, he's got a fight. He's got the Ryan Spann fight. I think the news is out there. So that's all good. Yeah, don't worry, but you're not going to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah, he seemed preoccupied, but I ran into a couple other guys there. So.
Yeah, it's just interesting because there's a lot of Canadians down in Vegas right now, which I thought was kind of neat as well. So yeah, wasn't sure if you caught them, which is good. But
no, I definitely sure with Jeremy. He seemed like he was super strong. He was feeling good, and that performance on was for sure.
Awesome.
There's no doubt in that kid.
Malcom, always great talking to you, man. Really appreciate the time, especially during fight week. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, once again, thanks for having me. You guys can reach me out at Malcom X Bra on Twitter, and then a couple of shout-outs, obviously, to Yeah, like everybody that's ever supported me, in all honesty, friends, family, my fiance, and yeah, like tune in November 28th. It's going to be a great fight. I think what am I, third fight on the card, so catch it early. So I want to add in a huge shout out to Blackfly Blues, Blackfly, back in Canada. Those guys are like if you guys are looking for a great night, watching the fights, go out to LCBO, grab Blackfly, and cheers on me.